see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sex.
Since morning, the atmosphere in the Yamaha garage has been much more serious than usual. The technicians have been working without much pause, while intense attention has been focused on the latest V4 prototype motorcycle, which has been used by Toprak again. This engine is said to bring significant changes to the power characteristics, weight distribution, and electronics, which have been Yamaha's weaknesses when competing against European manufacturers. Toprak himself was seen entering and exiting the pits several times with full focus. He not only conducted time attack simulations, but also completed long runs to evaluate the consistency of the new engine. According to several observations in the paddock, today's Yamaha V4 motorcycle sounded much more aggressive on the straights than the previous version. Acceleration out of corners also seemed stronger, something that had been a major problem for Yamaha when facing Ducati on tracks with many stop-and-go areas. This situation has prompted Yamaha to start acting more boldly. After lagging behind in the last few rounds, they realized they could no longer rely on their old strategies. The Japanese manufacturer continued to lose top speed and rear traction as the race entered the final laps. In fact, in the last few races, Yamaha riders have often struggled to stay in the front group because the bikes lost traction during acceleration duels. That's why the V4 project is now a top priority. Yamaha believes a change in engine concept is the only way to catch up with European rivals, who have already developed this configuration. Interestingly, Toprak's presence is considered a crucial element in accelerating this project. Toprak's aggressive riding style has helped engineers understand the bike's weaknesses in greater detail. He is known for his sensitivity to front-end feel, especially during hard braking and rapid changes of direction. This makes Toprak's feedback during testing invaluable to Yamaha. Today in Catalunya, the main focus of testing wasn't just engine power. Yamaha also tried changes to the swing arm area, rear weight distribution, and a new aerodynamic setup designed to improve stability when exiting fast corners. In several sessions, Toprak's bike was seen using a different aero configuration than in previous tests. Here's the full news. The 2026 MotoGP World's attention today was once again focused on Toprak Razgatlioglu and the Prima Pramac Yamaha team, who resumed crucial testing of the Yamaha V4 engine at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. This test was no ordinary one. It was considered one of the most crucial moments in Yamaha's revival project, having consistently fallen behind Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia in the final few rounds of the 2026 MotoGP season. Since the start of the season, Yamaha has been one of the manufacturers under the most scrutiny. Not because of their victories or dominance, but because of their bike's performance, which continues to lag behind their European rivals. This situation has even begun to create significant pressure within Yamaha itself. They realize that if they don't make major changes soon, the 2026 season could turn into one of the worst in Yamaha's modern MotoGP history. And today in Catalunya, Yamaha looked truly serious. The Yamaha garage seemed much more closed than usual. The Japanese engineers and Pramac crew worked non-stop since morning. Their primary focus was clearly on the latest V4 prototype bike, which was once again fielded specifically for the development program with Toprak. Many in the paddock are calling this Yamaha's biggest evolution since they abandoned the conservative approach that had been their hallmark in MotoGP for years. The V4 bike tested today reportedly brings significant changes to the bike's fundamental character. Not only has engine power been increased, but also the power distribution system, engine braking, rear traction, and aerodynamic balance. All areas that have been Yamaha's weaknesses are being aggressively addressed. Toprak himself was very active throughout the test session. He frequently entered and exited the pits, while having lengthy discussions with the engineers. At several moments, the Yamaha crew even showed serious expressions while reading the bike's telemetry data after Toprak completed a long run. It's no secret that Yamaha has struggled to compete with Ducati's power on the straights. In fact, in the last few races, Yamaha riders have lost significant time simply because their bikes lack acceleration when exiting corners. This situation often leaves Yamaha riders caught in a tough battle, even before entering the middle lap of the race. Another problem arose with rear tire grip. While Ducati and KTM were able to maintain stable tire performance until the end of the race, Yamaha often lost traction during crucial stages. This makes it difficult for their riders to attack and defend. That's why the V4 engine project is now Yamaha's biggest hope. The Japanese manufacturer is beginning to realize that the inline-4 concept that has been their identity for years is starting to struggle to compete in the modern era of MotoGP aerodynamics and ride heights. Ducati has proven how effective the V4 engine is in creating brutal acceleration and more efficient power distribution. KTM and Aprilia are also developing rapidly with similar concepts. Yamaha ultimately has no choice but to follow suit. Interestingly, Toprak's presence in this project has had a significant impact. Many Yamaha engineers are beginning to acknowledge that Toprak's aggressive riding style is helping them identify the bike's weaknesses more quickly than before. Toprak is known for his extreme braking ability and highly sensitive front-end feel. When the bike loses even the slightest bit of stability, he immediately senses it. This feedback is now Yamaha's main weapon in accelerating the development of their V4. In this morning session, several paddock observers saw Yamaha trying different setups for the swing arm and rear weight distribution. The bike's position also appeared to have changed slightly compared to the previous test. Strong suspicions point to Yamaha's pursuit of better corner exit traction without sacrificing front-end stability. Furthermore, new aerodynamics were also tested again. Toprak's bike was seen using a fairing with different details on the side wings and lower aero area. Yamaha appears to be pursuing the high-speed stability that has long been Ducati's strength. And the initial results are starting to attract attention. Several sources in the paddock said the sound of Yamaha's V4 engine this time sounds much more aggressive than the previous development. Even exiting the final corner of Catalunya, the bike appears to have a much stronger acceleration thrust. This is something rarely seen from Yamaha in recent seasons. Furthermore, Yamaha's sector records are also starting to approach those of the front group. Although no official data has been released, Toprak's performance today is said to be much more competitive than in previous testing. However, Yamaha's biggest challenge is not yet over. Modern MotoGP isn't just about engine power. Ducati has created setting new standards in terms of aerodynamic efficiency, electronic control, and tire management. Yamaha must not only pursue power, but also understand how to keep the bike stable throughout the race without destroying the tires. And this is why today's Catalunya test is so important. Yamaha wants to ensure that their V4 bike is not only fast for a single lap, but also able to maintain performance in full race simulations. One of Yamaha's biggest problems so far has been a drastic drop in performance after a few laps. Toprak reportedly also underwent extensive simulations to evaluate rear tire consumption and the temperature stability of the new engine. This program is considered crucial because Yamaha does not want to repeat the overheating and loss of grip problems that emerged earlier in the season. What makes the situation even more interesting is the intense pressure from the Japanese public and media. Many are beginning to question Yamaha's development direction after sticking with the old concept for so long. Even some former MotoGP riders are starting to say Yamaha is too late in implementing a technical revolution. But now, Yamaha seems to be truly changing. They are no longer playing it safe. They are starting to take big risks to catch up. And today's project with Toprak could be the beginning of a new era for Yamaha in MotoGP. For Toprak himself, this project also represents a major test in his career. He arrives not only as a star rider, but also as someone expected to change the direction of Yamaha's development. If this bike is ultimately competitive, Toprak's name will be greatly credited as the rider who helped revive Yamaha from its slump. The atmosphere in the Catalunya paddock today also feels different. Many rival team crews are starting to take Yamaha's garage more seriously. Some observers even say Ducati is now realizing that Yamaha is slowly finding the right development direction. Even so, the road to the top is still very long. Ducati remains the main force in MotoGP today. KTM continues to develop aggressively, while Aprilia is becoming more consistent in each round. Yamaha will have to work much harder if they want to truly compete for wins again.